There are a number of ways we can address threats to our own personal security online. Let's go through some of these now. The first one is to add protection layers to any current account that you need to log into. Most software out there allows us to save our security login details into our computer system so that it's retrieved and you don't have to remember the password each time. At this stage, it is still a secure way to log in. However, it doesn't take much for a cybercriminal to get access to your computer, and then they have access to all the same passwords that are saved onto your computer. Multi-factor identification brings in a second device into the authentication process, usually your mobile phone. Both Microsoft and Google have authenticator applications that you can download that are continually updated with password access verifications. This is the second factor in that multi-layer approach. Now, while this can be a little inconvenient, it is a proven method of stopping cybercriminals hacking your password and then having free access to your particular program or data. The second way to address security threats is to update all of your device settings regarding your privacy. Apple and Android, Google, have a number of layers that you can switch on to improve the security of interacting with your device. Additionally, on your computer, you'll have access to security levels that you can change within your browser settings. So this isn't just your computer, this is now the software. So if you're on Apple, it'll be maybe Safari. If you're on a PC, it might be anything from Google Chrome and Firefox through to Microsoft's own browser software. One simple and quick thing you can do that is recommended by most industry insiders is to disable any GeoTagging information. This is the information that's hidden underneath things like photos, videos, and posts that identify where you are or were when you posted that information. So you can do that on your mobile devices, whether it's a tablet or a smartphone, and this will reduce at least the likelihood of one of those threats we talked about earlier, which is cybercriminals knowing where you are and then using that information to access your private property. Remember that sharing is not caring when it comes to the internet. Anything that's shared on the internet can, and often is, retrievable by cybercriminals even if you manage to delete it in a reasonable time frame. Let's say it's a few minutes, a well-versed cybercriminal can still access things like images or posts you may have had. You only need to watch the news to see that tweets that may have been sent out by people that have since been deleted remain there on the internet forever. The fourth layer is, of course, the regular audits, which we covered in the last lesson. The fifth layer is to look at stranger danger, just like you do in the real world. If you don't know somebody, be hesitant before you accept friend requests or accept emails and open attached folders, especially if you've had nothing to do with that person's domain name in the past or their email address. So keep a keen eye on where the information is coming from before you open it. If you have a look at the exercise files, we've included a risk assessment template for you to go through your various accounts and measure them on a risk rating of low, medium, and high. A high risk rating is something that you need to address immediately, either by doing one of the steps we just mentioned, or even deleting the account altogether if it's not necessary. The last step we'll cover is to ensure the build of the software you're currently using is the latest available. Now, we did talk in a previous lesson that larger corporations may not have the latest version of Office software, for instance, on their computers. And therefore, the IT part of the organization will be monitoring that. However, for your personal use, it makes sense to update to the latest version of any application you're using regularly. The reason being is most modifications include security updates. A security update is something that's been recognized as a potential threat to anyone using that application. So it pays to make sure that you have the latest version downloaded whenever you can. Again, we've included a template in the exercise files for you to go through your accounts and just have a quick look at each one to see whether you need to update to a newer version or perhaps delete the account altogether. The last thing we'll look at in this lesson is to remove any potentially sensitive data that you're currently sharing with the world, either on social media or in some other online account that you hold. Sensitive information is information that the account does not need to actively monitor and provide a service to you. In some cases, the terms and conditions of using that particular platform will require quite a lot of information being shared with that provider. Facebook or Meta is a great example of that. However, you do have a lot of control over the amount of data that you do share. So again, go through the security settings that we mentioned in step 1. And also have a look at any other sensitive information you may have posted, whether it's images, location information, or even just opinions that you've shared that could be considered a way in for potential hackers that understand the nuances of social engineering. For example, if you've got a very strong opinion, maybe on a political or a religious topic, a smart social engineer can go in and bait you to provide them with information that you might not even realize you're doing. This is the sort of thing that goes back to the basics. And if you don't have something good to say, don't say it at all. But we still understand that opinions are very strong. And in the social media community, opinions are shared on a daily basis, hundreds of millions every single day. So whether your opinion is or is not buried under the masses of other opinions being shared that day is neither here nor there. For your security, is it important that your opinion is shared? And if so, can you spot if anyone interacts with you that could be baiting you to then provide more information to them and again, open the doors to a vulnerability?